Okay, so here's your balance manual. The patient's going to be responsible for reading this page, which is a summary as to how the balance protocol got started. This page goes into a little bit about the eyes, the ears, and the feet. And then the next page, it goes into the solo step and what takes place on the evaluation, which they should have already had at this point. And then finally, this will go into soreness rules and concerns that they may have and the importance of discussing it with a therapist. So we all need to make sure we read those pages, and so when they have questions, we would be able to talk to them about those. From there, so they've already watched a video and then read that. There's also a video on phase 1, so another video they would watch on the iPad, and it goes into what phase 1 is. After they listen to that, you would want to sit down with them, make sure they don't have any questions. Remember, this is still on day 2. At the bottom of day 2, you're going to set functional activities, 2 functional activities that you want them to accomplish. So ones that we've done so far included like a lady walking to her mailbox every day, or somebody staying standing while they're while they're taking their dog out. Another one was somebody focusing on walking 10 minutes a day, things like that you want to make sure they're doing during the day. So that would be the phase 1. So you're setting those goals with them. Okay. From that, you want to make sure that you are coming up with their home exercise program on this day. And so at the very back, they have their exercise program, and that's where it goes. So they're putting their exercise program on that one. You'll punch holes in it and put it in there for them. You'll also be helping them set up their calendar. And so say it's January, so you're going to write January here. And then you want to start dating at the top. So say they come in on Tuesday the 13th. Then you would put January here, and then the 13th, 14th, 15th. The reason we do that is because there's one calendar here. So if we run into February, we want to just be able to put like January/February and then continue down here. So you want to make sure if they come in on the 13th, for example, then you're starting it up at the top. Okay. They're expected to check the calendar each time they complete their home program and their functional activities. So they should hear that in the video, but you just want to review that with them. Also, behind phase 1, we now have the education in the balance manual, and so you don't have to worry about giving it to them. So there's their check for safety. So they'll be instructed in the video that they need to check this, but you just want to reinforce it and make sure that you're reviewing that with them sometime during phase 1. Okay? So at the end of so that would be day 2. All of that's taking place. You would want to initiate the balance protocol at that point. So you're pulling out the protocol, and then with whatever time you have left, you're going through phase 1. So you're initiating that. You may say, like, how would I have time when I have another patient? But just remember, at the beginning, they're going to be watching those videos, so that's going to give you time to finish up with your other patient. So that's why we have those set at the beginning of day 2. So from then on, the patients will come in each day, and you're going to want to make sure that you're checking and making sure that they understand their home program and that they're checking their calendar. If they're not checking on their calendar, then we need to figure out why. And they're expected to bring this in every session. So if you have somebody that has an issue with remembering, you just want to reinforce the importance that we want them to be a part of this progression with us. We want them to be an active participant. This is really just to help with compliance and making sure they know what our plan is and what phase we're on. So when the person's ready for phase 2, make sure that at the beginning of phase 2 that you're completing the limits of stability test. So you want to have the person on the neurocom and have them complete their limits of stability before you move on to phase 2. So that's a test that we want to make sure we're doing on every person. Then you're going to help them set new updates on here. So they're setting, at the bottom they're doing 2 new functional activities, and here they're doing 3 things that focus on weight shifting. So these could be things you want to help them with, because that's a little bit new for them, but activities that come to mind would be like shifting forward to grab something out of the cabinet, or grabbing something off the cabinet at the grocery store, or the shelf at the grocery store, or reaching forward to grab their toothpaste out of the cabinet in the bathroom. Anything where they're shifting and reaching or having to challenge their dynamic weight shifting. So you're helping them come up with activities. So I think this is the hardest phase for people to relate to function, and so it's important that they know why we're shifting back and forth, and so that's why that's included here, so that they can really get a grasp as to why we're doing this phase. Behind phase 2, they'll have another calendar, so you would have to update their calendar, and then you want to update their home program. So you would go back to the back, you would take out their home program from phase 1 and put a phase 2 program in there. Okay. And then also at phase 2, we want to make sure that they're filling out this form. So it just asks if they want to become a fitness center member, and if they're interested in the functional fitness classes, and then it has, I know this is backwards, but it has information about them being 50% off, the dues being 50% off if they're a therapy graduate. So just a little promotion for the fitness center there that you would want to review with them. Okay. And then same thing, phase 3. So when the person moves on to phase 3, they're sitting down, they're watching their phase 3 video, and then you're updating this with them. So 2 activities in the community they would like to return to are listed there. So that could be, for example, somebody said going back to church because they hadn't been going to church at this point. And so that would be a good functional activity, or an activity in the community they would want to return to. Anything like buying their own groceries, or going to their grandkids' softball games. So things like that. And then you're, again, updating their functional activities at the bottom. So progressing the ones that you've already come up with, or setting new ones. So at the back of phase 3, they have their new calendar, so you would want to update that with them. And then they have this form, which is the one we're used to, that determines if they still feel like they're a fall risk, and issues that they have trouble with. So you would just want them to go through and say yes, no on those, and then you would want to review it with them their next session. Okay. In order to make sure you reviewed these with them, let's write reviewed and what date at the top here. That'll be helpful for the other staff members. So if Christy has my patient that I saw, and when they started modified center of gravity, and she doesn't see that it's checked off, that way she knows that we need to review it. So let's add that in. And then finally we would go to phase 4, so they would watch their phase 4 video. On this one, you're setting 2 more functional activities that they want to work on at the bottom. And then what we're really focusing on phase 4, there is an exercise program that they could start with, but we also want to make sure we're promoting the fitness center if we can. Not just because promoting the fitness center isn't just to make money. We really don't make a lot of money from having our patients go to the fitness center, but it's about changing their lifestyle. And so if they don't have a place to exercise, we just want them exercising somewhere. And so if you feel like that person's going to be someone that goes home and sits on the couch and you
And they
know
will.
they're, and Dr. Lott said they will.
Oh, will.
You want to make sure that we're setting them up with something we know that they're going to be able to do. So if you have somebody that's consistent at the YMCA or consistent at Planet Fitness and that's where they're going, we don't need to convince them to come to Lots. But if you have somebody that's not doing anything, then and we have to be stern with that and
Our
make
senior
sure.
Programs.
Yeah.
Remind them about our senior programs are important.
You want to say that louder?
I'll let you do it.
Making sure that we have the functional fitness classes available and really promoting those. And so those functional fitness classes are perfect for our balance patients. I don't think there's a better way we could market to them than saying we have these classes that will keep you consistent and you're working on your balance and you're getting endurance and strength training. It's the whole package for them, and it's a good way to make sure they're involved in the community. So for those people that would be appropriate for that, I'd show them a class, make sure they know what they're getting into. But that really is our goal. We need to find ways that they're going to continue to be active out after this. And so that is the balance manual. It's just really a way to make sure that our patients know the phases that we're working through and that they're being an active participant in this process. So we'll be reviewing this more in person, but just think of any questions you have or any suggestions you have to make it better, and we will talk about it soon. Alrighty.